Hey, before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for clicking on a video that wasn't video games and or zombie related. It means the world to me that you would click on a video from me no matter what kind of content it actually is. I appreciate all of you who watch me as I find the type of video that I want to make. It has been quite an interesting challenge trying to figure out exactly the type of content that I will be making in the future. Well, let's just get into the normal intro. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'd like to ask you to follow my Twitter at JarJarYT and my Instagram at JarJar_801. And my Twitch, JarJar801. Let's just jump to the video. Logan Paul has to be one of the most interesting people to ever make YouTube videos in the last 6 or 7 years. From every controversy you hear to his more recent adventures in the world of Pokemon, he has certainly made a name for himself. Whether or not that reputation is good or bad is the question. Since I can't answer the question good or bad, I thought I'd answer the slightly easier question. Is Logan Paul deserving of the platform he has? I'll be looking back at Logan Paul's entire journey from Vine to current day and discussing the major events in his world of being a content creator, and finally answering the question, does he deserve to be at the spot he is? So without much further ado, I welcome you to Logan Paul, good or bad. It's undeniable that Logan Paul has quite the expensive career of content creation on the internet. He began his content adventure on an unknown channel called Zoosh, a channel he created with his brother Jake. Jake and Logan would go on to make another channel called L-Dog and J-Slice, which would prove to only be a stepping stone to Logan's eventual success. He would then go on to create a Vine account in 2013. This started the eventual skyrocket to success he and his brother would have. He posted skits of all sorts, which lasted from his early high school years until he dropped out of college. Vine wasn't the only thing Logan had created in 2013. He also created the first channel that was dedicated to himself, titled The Official Logan Paul. Sadly, Vine shut down in 2017. While this was not at all a good thing for many people, it's quite possible that for Logan Paul, it was the best thing that could have happened. After Vine closed, Logan Paul would go on to pursue an acting career. He was in a deleted scene from the movie Baywatch, which is the only role he played in a big budget film. He did, however, star in a movie titled The Thinning, which is what would happen if students with a low test score were killed. This movie was released in 2016, just a year before he would hit real mainstream success with his videos. Logan Paul would go on to become one of the most influential and watched people on YouTube, racking up a total of 22.9 million subscribers and almost 6 billion views. While this seems like sunshine and rainbows, Logan Paul's career was not without controversy. In fact, most of his career on YouTube has been saturated with it. Between drama with his brother, drama in his relationships, drama in Japan, and even drama in a boxing ring with YouTuber KSI. We will be going through every controversy of Logan Paul's career to determine if the millions of people who watch him are being influenced with positivity and enlightenment, or are giving in to the whim of someone who is a bull in a china shop. With that, we will begin our first look into the drama of Logan Paul. In this segment, I won't be going chronologically, but rather jumping from year to year, because Logan Paul's feud with his brother Jake is one of multiple years and multiple incidences. The friendship between the two brothers is one that is often seen in a slight state of turmoil in its history, but in the past few years, however, it has grown in its strength. May 30th, 2017, Jake Paul released It's Everyday Bro. It's everyday, bro, with the Disney Channel flow. This song released to criticism from many YouTubers and people who listened. Logan Paul dissed the song, which would lead down a rabbit hole of hatred. On June 1st, 2017, Jake Paul dropped a diss track on his brother and his fanbase, the Low Gang. On July 9th of 2017, Logan Paul uploaded a song which is titled The Fall of Jake Paul. In this song, Logan Paul dissed Jake Paul to the point where Jake Paul caught wind of the disses in the second verse and immediately made an apology video the day before the video was to be uploaded. So at the end of the first verse, Logan finishes rapping and it cuts to black. We see a girl stepping out of a car. She has a similar hair color and a physique to Alyssa, Jake's girlfriend. Later on, Logan Paul released the full song showing that it was in fact Elisa who stepped out of the car. Bringing your brother's ex-girlfriend into a diss track almost blurs the line between playful banter and being hateful or spiteful. The second verse is what really puts into question the moral character of it all. Directly at the end of the video, right before the video ends, Logan Paul leans in towards Alyssa and it cuts to black immediately before they kiss. This pushes the line into an almost morally unacceptable area. A diss track can talk about their lyrics for their looks, but bringing someone's ex into the song is something no one should ever do, especially in the way that Logan Paul did. The ability for someone to even come up with the idea to include this is almost diabolical. Somehow, however, the two brothers did make up with a song titled I Love You Bro, that got uploaded to Jake's channel. This raises another question for many people. Logan and Jake Paul made up after what usually would have been a relationship ender for many people, and they did it so easily. This leads many people to think that the entire drama between the two brothers was actually faked, which makes the entire situation even more scummy and potentially career-ending if it was ever found out. Whether this drama was artificial or reality does not excuse the other terrible controversies that Logan Paul has found himself in. This segment will more than likely be the most widely known of all, and the most triggering for people. So if you don't know what the title of The Forest means, I will let you know that if anything related to self-harm triggers you, I would skip the entire segment and potentially the rest of the video. So I'm going to just jump into this segment. For many people, the new year can be a time of improvement or reflection on what makes us human and how we can better ourselves. For Logan Paul, however, New Year's Eve and the beginning of 2018 would be some of the worst months of his life. On December 31st, 2017, he uploaded a video closely entitled, "We Found a Body in the Forest." This video stayed up on his channel for almost 24 hours, and by the time it was taken down, it was #1 on trending and had 6 million views. This is a huge problem, not only because this video was shown to many vulnerable adults, but also to his mostly child fanbase who watches his every action, and, like it or not, look up to him. The video starts out with footage of the woods from a drone, and cuts to Logan talking to the camera, and messing around with his friends. They actually are planning on, at this point in the video, camping in the forest overnight. They follow the trail into the woods for a while before stepping off the trail into the actual woods, which it's restricted to do. They go into the woods for a while before we see Logan Paul say the line that became ingrained in many people's brains. "I think we just found a body in the suicide forest." After this point is when they make the majority of their mistakes. They begin to venture closer to the body they found, making it even more apparent that they haven't fully realized what they've gotten themselves into. They make it within probably 30 feet of the body. They blurred out the face of the victim, but his hands, clothing, hair, and other attributes are all shown visibly. His wallet and his other personal items are clearly visible in the man's back pockets. You can also clearly see the rope tied around the tree that leads to the man's neck. The entire time they are doing this, they are joking and laughing about what they found, as if it was a game they were playing, and not fully understanding what they've gotten themselves into. They leave the area and their friend that speaks Japanese calls the police. Logan Paul and his gang stop filming until they are back in the parking lot where the ambulance and the police are. Logan Paul points at one of the people working, either a cop or he works for the ambulance, and says, "You can tell he has done this before." The video ends with him talking to the camera about mental health. In the video, you can tell all these cutaway shots of him talking about mental health was to cover him if any negative backlash happened. They obviously didn't help because we were worried less about the mental health and more about him showing a dead body to his mostly child fanbase. I have an incredibly hard time even researching this event, nevertheless trying to come up with any other side other than how despicable and terrible I find this. I find this terrible on everyone's part, even further past Logan Paul. The entirety of these events should have been what killed Logan Paul's career. The fact that it didn't is still something I don't understand. There are a few things about this I find incredibly terrible. The first is how many people saw this video without really understanding what they were getting into. How many kids saw this video without understanding and how long it stayed up on YouTube. Logan Paul is not the only one at fault for this fiasco. This was his video, but YouTube kept the video up for way longer than it should have and didn't punish Logan Paul as hard as they should have. The way it was handled showed to me that the rules on YouTube don't apply to people who make YouTube a lot of money. This is one of the only parts of this video that I can say without a doubt should have killed Logan Paul's career. Logan Paul would try his best to repair his career by interviewing victims of suicide attempts and donating money to suicide prevention organizations. But after this, it was almost completely apparent he didn't learn anything. In one of his videos, not long after, he would go on to tase a dead rat, which ultimately is what got his monetization taken and his advertisers pulled. According to YouTube and advertisers, showing a dead body was better than tasing a rat. Please actually think about that. I think in the case of Logan Paul's demonetization, YouTube was potentially just as much at fault as Logan Paul was. They decided that advertisers would care more about a tased rat than a human body. Controversy wasn't something that would leave Logan for a while. If filming a dead body wasn't enough for this man to reconsider his view of the world, he would hopefully understand after what he did next. He created a podcast entitled Impulsive. During the month of March, Logan is quoted saying that he was going to go gay, calling it Male Only March. This caused many people to be outraged by this statement, in which he was saying that being gay was a choice, and that at any point you could go gay if you so choose. This is again the controversy that should have ruined his career. You can understand that he was joking, but also understand the damage that a joke like that could have made. For context, before we introduce Logan Paul into the world of boxing, we need to watch KSI's entry into this world. KSI fought Joe Weller and won. He then called out the Paul brothers and Jake Paul responded. However, he stepped down and Logan Paul would take his place and fight KSI, while Jake Paul went to fight Deji. Logan Paul and KSI's original fight was intentionally and advertised like an internet fight. It was potentially the biggest internet event in history. KSI and Logan Paul tied in the first fight, one judge stating that it was an even tie and the other one saying 58-57 in favor of KSI. The next fight was a loss for Logan Paul and a split decision by the judge. Logan originally asked for a rematch, but KSI declined. Logan Paul's fight was just a few days ago. They did tie, however. Technically, Logan Paul won for staying all 8 rounds in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. For the research I spent on this video, and the videos I've seen, including the Forest video which I disgustingly had to sit through the entire thing, Logan Paul's career should have ended at the Forest. Originally, the plan was I would go and look for things that Logan Paul has done that would potentially counter the things he's done bad. I was unable to find anything worthy of even bringing up. So to answer the question, Logan Paul good or bad, I'd have to answer bad. If I ever had children, I would never let them watch anything Logan Paul has ever made. His ability to make it feel like he does not care about anyone but himself is something I've never seen. I think the biggest takeaway from this needs to be that Logan Paul, he went into a forest known for bodies and filmed it, saw a body and filmed it, proceeded to edit it, create a thumbnail, and upload it without ever seeing anything wrong with it. Well, that's all. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is not my normal type of video, but I'll be making more if you guys enjoy it. So like the video and comment down below. So yeah, go follow me on Twitter @JarJarYT, and my Instagram and Twitch is @JarJar801. If you like scary movies, go follow my Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram @SlashItHorror for everything related to scary movies. So yeah, that's all. I'll see you all next time.